Hey folks, Steve here with another special video for you today. We're not going to be talking about any specific game really in this video. We're going to hit a couple of different topics. But you can tell by the title of the video that some of this is maybe topical for my current wargaming schedule and rhythm that I've been in. I first want to say it's been good to play through Red Strike. That coverage took us a couple of months really to get through just due to the speed at which I could do the coverage. And that was a big effort. And really, that game, due to its complexity and depth, took a lot of time to really get to know and to play, which kind of puts a strain because the next game that I was going to cover, sort of on this hypothetical World War III binge, was going to be the Third World War from Compass Games, that new edition of the series from way back. I'm still going to do that game, and I'm going to do coverage for that game uh, in the near term, relatively speaking, and relatively might be the operative word. I need a little bit of a palate cleanser. I basically have been doing a lot of World War III stuff, almost back to back, not quite back to back. And before I jump into yet another World War III, hypothetical World War III, Cold War Goes Hot game and system, I just need something else to kind of clear my gaming palette for a second and help me reappreciate the 80s aesthetic, I guess, and the 80s weapon systems and all of that. Because I just went through a very deep simulation of that, or at least a very, I guess, detailed compared to other systems. So to jump right back into another, hypothetical Third World War game feels very samey, and I just need something to break it up before I address that game. But I'm still very much going to do it. I just need to do something else. I haven't quite settled on what that's going to be. I actually am thinking maybe I'm going to do Highway to the Kremlin 2 from OSG. It's a Napoleonic, I'm going to say, operational game covering the invasion of Russia. I think that'd be a really fun game to play. There's not a lot of coverage on it, which is valuable for me because I like to cover things that maybe don't get the coverage that they deserve or have very little coverage. Alternatively, I might do some more Library of Napoleonic Battles just because I kind of have a backlog there and I'd like to play that too. Um, so that's kind of where I'm feeling. I might also do some off camera gaming just for myself. Replay I Napoleon a few more times, a few dozen more times. I don't know. That's such a great game. So I'm going to be doing some stuff to break up the back-to-back World War III bits, but we will get to the Third World War coming soon. Now, the rest of this video is going to be more tied to the topic of the title of the video, the main topic here, which is lifestyle game fatigue. And it's interesting, I've been playing, I'm going to say consistently, playing with some minor breaks in between due to major world events. I've been playing World in Flames for, I don't know, it feels like since 2018 on a monthly or semi-monthly basis. Um, so that's what, 7 years, something like that. That's a pretty long time to be playing anything on a regular basis. I've probably played World in Flames, more time spent playing World in Flames than I've played any other war game. It is one of my favorite war games, and it's probably one game that if I had to take one to a desert island, that's a great contender. Um, but the one challenge with World in Flames is it is a long game. It is a fairly complex game. While it is easier to learn than I think it's at least one of its competitors in the strategic World War II space, um, it is a lot. And honestly, I think that amount of a lot has pressed upon my World in Flames group. We've actually had a situation where, while we had a group of 5 consistently trying to meet, 4 to 5 people usually, trying to meet for World in Flames over the last few years, we've had a few people drop and then we'd get some new players in. And recently, and I totally get this from the people who had to do it. They had to drop out. We had 2 people drop out just because that commitment, it feels a lot like a tabletop role playing game commitment. Like you schedule, you want everyone to be there. If somebody's not there, the game's not as good as it would be if everyone was there. Someone's got to take over. Someone's got to pick up where the other person left off, maybe with not a lot of notes, and figure out what they were trying to do. and hold steady until they return at the next session. And it is a lot to support. If you're playing it slowly over time, which is how we play, we'll play, you know, several hours on a Saturday or Sunday and do that once a month and get through maybe a turn or less or more. And so it takes us over a year, probably, well over a year to play any given campaign. And we've had a hard time finishing. I mean, we either get to a point where one side is doing so well we just call it, or somebody leaves and the game gets screwed up and we have to restart, basically. And we've done that a number of times over the years of the core people who've been coming every time. And for two people, that commitment and free time just was too hard to maintain, and they bowed out, which is okay. You understand that. And that put the remainder of us that were playing in kind of a weird spot. It's like, oh, we got to close up again, basically. We could continue to play, but the game was already starting to shift into a like, uh-oh, we know the way the game's going to go. And we called it, and even I get, I guess, fatigue from World in Flames, if only because it is a lot. It is a lot when you're going, especially with a long break. And I think that's so different than if you were structured playing a lifestyle game. Again, whether we're talking World at War, or maybe Axis Empires, or something else like that, the OCS games. If you're going to play a game and you're going to really play it through in a short amount of time, even if it's a big investment, you can make that work. The longer you spread it out and the longer it takes you to get through it, the more straining it can be, because you're going, our gracious host who has the game on his table, year round basically for us to play. You know, Everyone else doesn't, have the map handy and take pictures. But, once we leave the World in Flames session, it's a month of the rest of life, the rest of wargaming or whatever else one's doing. Before you come back, try to remember the game state, look at the notes that you took, maybe the pictures, try to remember all the things that you were really trying to do or the gotcha moments. And some of that's just on the players. Do you take good notes? You got to take notes. It's homework. Playing a game like that becomes homework in some respect. That coming back and trying to play that and we're playing the most complex version, right? Like we're playing with lots of optional rules and the expansions and the whole thing, which I do think is the best way to play it. But it is straining. And I think there is even a part of me saying, hey, you know what, guys, if this is the way that it's going right now, like, let's just take a break for a little bit. Not wargaming, not meeting once a month to play war games. Let's keep doing that. But maybe let's do something else, and I'm not sure which of us proposed that out of the three of us that are still in that group. But that was a very attractive idea to just say, hey, we're gonna set the big game aside for a bit and allow ourselves to recharge our mental energy from a World in Flames perspective and play some other stuff. And I wonder how often folks end up in that situation. To me, it was a bit of a sense of relief to just say, hey, you know what, let's take some time. Because honestly, there's almost stress involved of like, man, I got WIF coming up. I really need to think about what I was doing last time. Where am I at again? Oh, right. I'm preparing for the, surprise attack on the allies as Japan, or do I actually have my carriers coming out of dry dock on time? And that break just is really inhibiting to a game like that, where if you're playing consistently, maybe on a weekly basis, you're going to be in a better groove to keep playing through. But to have that gap, even around the holidays, or summer vacations, where it might actually be 2 months before we could meet again, was really hard to come back to. And I could see that being the case whether we were playing a World at War or some other game. Like it doesn't matter so much that it's World in Flames, but the mode of operation has been difficult of late. And so taking a break from a lifestyle game like that, like it's like, oh man, you almost feel a little self-defeat, right? Like, oh, we should have kept going, or we should have started again. But I think we just needed a break, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's okay to say, hey, you know what, let's do some palate cleansing, right? Kind of like what I'm doing with the hypothetical Third World War stuff. Like, You can't just do the same thing all the time. You need something in there to break it up and help you appreciate the experience when you get back to the lifestyle game. And the nice thing is, it gives us an opportunity to play some other games. I mean, that World in Flames group was really my face-to-face wargaming that I do the most, other than convention play, or what games I might play with my wife. And a lot of the war games that I play are, I play solitaire here. But this opens up the door to having a little bit more time allotted out of, limited free time that anybody has to play some other games. And I think that's a good thing. It's good to play some other stuff. So while the door of WIF, for me, is temporarily closing as we take a break, we're going to come back to WIF eventually. We're going to use this time to play some other stuff. It is that, a door closes, another opens. We're going to play some other fun stuff. And what's exciting is we're going to be playing some stuff I've never played before, which is really interesting. We're going to be diving, really deep in playing some great battles of the American Civil War, which I have several games of, but I've not quite played, and I've not quite gotten as familiar with the rules as maybe I want to, despite trying to read the rules a little bit and preparing myself. And you might be thinking, oh, are you guys going to be playing like Into the Woods from GMT, one of the newer games? No, we're not. We're going to play Cedar Mountain from the 80s. The SPI version is the version that we're going to be playing next up. But he's the person who hosts WIF is going to host us as we play some great battles of the American Civil War. And great battles of the American Civil War, a game system that has now been refined and improved over years. But they've got these older SPI titles like Cedar Mountain, Pea Ridge, that this is like version 1 of that system. So we're not playing the modern version. We're playing the older version from back in the day, because that's what my friend happens to have on hand. And we're we're looking at the rules, and we're going to play through that. Now, there probably won't be coverage of that on the channel, just because that's me and my friend's time, not necessarily channel time. But that's a great thing. I'm going to get to play that. I'm going to get to play that with friends, learn a system despite it being kind of the older version of the system. And what's really interesting is just to compare the way that system has evolved, because if I look at the series rulebook, this is the 2021 edition. This is a 41-page rulebook. Now, granted, it's got color, it's got pictures, it's got examples, it's got a lot of design notes and play notes, which are all really great. Fantastic pictures, all that sort of thing. It is a bigger rulebook, and it has probably grown to that size based on including all of those nice things, but also just making sure that the rules really have become refined and handling all the edge cases and really creating the cohesive rule set for all of this stuff. But the series rulebook, circa the 80s, where Cedar Mountain comes in, is only like 14 pages long, so like less than half potentially, of the rulebook size. So will that mean we're going to have some more questions, that there's going to be edge cases maybe that aren't covered? Possibly. Will we eventually maybe play some of the more recent versions of these things, right? There is a newer version of Cedar Mountain even in the Twin Peaks game, but that drives a high price if you're trying to buy it on the secondary market. So we'll play what we have. I may eventually play some of the newer ones with my buddies, and we'll see how that goes. I think it's going to be really cool. So I guess, the point of this video is just to kind of talk about current events going on in my wargaming situation, but I think it's a worthwhile question of, like, for those who play lifestyle games, do you ever get lifestyle game fatigue? Is playing that same game over and over again exhausting some of your players and the need to take a break? Have you taken breaks? I'm interested to hear what other folks' experiences are, because again, for me, it's like I love World in Flames, really want to play it, like playing it, but the idea of a break for a little while is just really attractive, just to get to play other war games, just to play other stuff that I have on the shelves that have been unplayed and need to get played. That's kind of where I'm going with that. So anyway, just sharing some thoughts, folks. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Again, interested to hear what people think about this stuff. We'll be doing probably a few more oddball videos before we get into my palate cleanser game coverage. So stay tuned for more stuff. We'll see how it goes. In the meantime, take care, keep gaming.